My name's Johnny Sanders. I graduated from Wichita Heights High School in 1969. I was at state gymnastic meet, and Ed McNeil came over and asked me if I'd like to come to Hayes on a scholarship. So I come here on a gymnastics scholarship in 1969. And I was here until 1973 when I graduated. When I first came here, my major was sociology. When I took social deviancy class, I decided rather than say, no, you did that wrong, no, you need to work on that, I changed my major to health, physical education, and recreation with a sociology minor because I'd rather say, I can get you to be the best that you can ever be, and if I can't get you to do it, I'll find someone else that can. I was an all-around. When I first came, I was a tumbler and vaulter. While I was here, I learned the rest of them, so I was an all-around. We had a pretty decent team. We went to nationals the first year, and Coach, he always talked to me about graduating. He said, I want you to graduate. That's what you're here for. Gymnastics is what got you here. Coach was a great mentor, and I also had a work scholarship at Custer Hall. Mary Higgins was my boss, or I say my adopted mother now, because she looked after me, her and Coach, while I was here. I worked in the kitchen, so that meant I got to eat. That was, you think about when you're in college, okay, my apartment was the red brick apartments that's across the railroad tracks, and back then it was 2 guys to a room, 2 bedrooms, $35 each. So there's some pricing, you see. All 3 of my roommates left after the first semester, so I had a full 2-bedroom apartment for $35. It was, Hayes was really exciting. When I first came to Hayes, there were 5 American blacks in the college. Me from Wichita, we had 2 football players, 2 basketball players, and I forgot. We had 2 girls, so there were 7. I think my second year we had about a dozen minority students here. So we started a black student union. That lasted for a year, and I've had 4 cousins come up here because I was here. So the second year, my cousin changed the name to Minority Student Union. His name was Cyrel Foote, and he was a representative at one time after he graduated. But we changed the name to Minority Student Union because it's more appropriate. While I was here, our gymnastic team, 6 of them became Delta Sigma Phi fraternity people. So, of course, I got asked to join, and I was a Delta Sigma Phi alumni. When I joined Delta Sigma Phi, we had to go through the Dean of Students, the Dean of Women, and all of that. And on the blank side, I said, well, my girlfriend's already a Tri Sigma, so we don't have that problem. That's how we got in. Because back in '69, there were still, and I can't say it in Hayes because I really didn't see any prejudice. I used to tell me stories about how people would get together and somebody needed a garage built, so all the neighbors would get together, they'd get a case of beer, and they built his garage. Then they'd go down the road and somebody needed a fence. That's the kind of community it was. I mean, you could go into a store, pick up a check blank, put your name, your address, and write your account number on it, cash it. That's the kind of town it was. Hayes taught me that your word is supposed to be better than any piece of paper you can sign. Small town Hayes. Okay, at that time they had 2 bars. I think they called one of them the Red Horse. That would have been the one on Main Street. Then they had the one on M, which was called a library. Most of the college students went there. Well, we went to both of them, but the library was in the basement. I had my first beer in Hayes. Believe it or not, I didn't drink before I came here. The only real big news was when Vern Miller went through 17 colleges. Vern Miller was the Attorney General of Kansas. He was so tough, he arrested his own brother. We were flower children. I got a marijuana license in my pocket now from Oklahoma. So that was the biggest thing going on in that time, is Vern Miller against marijuana and drugs.